Hello YouTube, this is Patrick and I am back with another edition of Heavy Therapy. This is my latest collection update. I have 5 vinyls. By the way, vinyls is the correct pronunciation of the plural form of vinyl. Look it up. No more prologue, let's get to the music. First up, I picked up the sophomore release from Full of Hell. This is called Rudiments of Mutilation. This is an alternate cover art when this was reissued by A389 Records. And normally I like to go with original cover arts because, right, it's a part of history. The band chose that artwork, or they accepted that artwork by the label, and I kind of like it being stuck and preserved for all time. Even if the band doesn't like the cover art, I kind of like to always choose the original cover art if I can. The store I bought this from actually did have both copies, so I had a chance to choose the original cover art, and I did not go with it. It's not a very pleasant visual experience, which I'm not opposed to that. Again, that's part of the album's history. But I do like how this reminds you of a lot of the new demos, promos, and compilations you see coming out from newer death metal bands that are trying to go for that old school vibe. So, pretty cool alternate cover art. I think it might even be done by Dylan Walker, the vocalist of Full of Hell, which is pretty cool. So, I did record a review of Full of Hell's latest studio album, came out in 2021. If you want to hear more about what this band sounds like, if you've never heard them. But in short, they're a death grind band, but they started as a more hardcore, post-hardcore, sludgy, droney, noisy band. This kind of fits. This is some of their slower work. They still have these fast grind songs, but this album has some of their longer tracks, which long for Full of Hell means about 4 minutes long. But they're droney, doomy, torturous, suffering songs. Let's take a look at the variant. So the variant I got was exclusive to closed casket activities, and I think it's limited out of 250 copies. Take a look at this. So it's clear, but it has this gold splotch, gold part in the middle there. Pretty cool. I like the A side a lot with the razor blade. And yeah, this album is a difficult, challenging listen. A lot of feedback, a lot of noise. In fact, you can't really even listen to track 1 if you want your ears not to hurt. Lyric sheet, hard to read, not impossible, but you have to really concentrate to do it. Yeah, 24 minutes of noisy death metal, hardcore punk blend that we love and know as Full of Hell. I didn't say what year the album came out, so let me say that real fast. So the album came out in 2013. As I said, it's their second full-length album. Okay. Next up is a classic in the first wave of death metal, and I am talking about the Swedish legends Dismember, Like an Ever-Flowing Stream. This is a reissue from Back on Black. Dan Seagrave artwork, not a great rendition of the album here from Back on Black. The gatefold, these gnarly little crazy kids here. This is an interesting time period for death metal. It was the birth of death metal just 4 or 5 years before this, but the Norwegian black metal scene was exploding, and there was an arms race about who's going to be more evil, dark, foreboding, scary, black metal, or death metal. This member is trying to say death metal, right? They're trying to say let's make people be more scared of death metal. And yeah, this is aggressive death metal. And when I was re-listening to it today, actually, it really sounds like what most newer death metal bands sound like. We name drop a lot of Incantation clones, Immolation, but Dismember already in 1991 on their debut was, you hear a lot of death, especially in the guitar tone. You don't hear a lot of that HM2 Entombed, another early Swedish death metal band. But yeah, you hear death, but you also hear more of faster, heavier stuff that you start hearing around the same time in Cannibal Corpse, but they slow it down a bit, like Incantation. But yeah, a lot of bands right now sound like Dismember. Very good songs. I think the B side of the album is the best, and which features the tracks "And So Is Life," "Dismembered," and "Skin Her Alive." Just they even have like these shreddy solos that even kind of just sound like classic metal solos. But if that scares you, don't let it scare you. Pure, aggressive, raw death metal right here from Dismember. Black vinyl. Happy to pick it up. It has some bonus tracks as well. And that's album number 2. Album number 3, speaking of 1991, speaking of old school death metal, speaking of what's going to be evil, more evil or darker. So, also happy to pick up Dark Throne's first album, first full length, Soulside Journey. Love this artwork. Dark Throne's only death metal album. They become legendary black metal band as soon as this album really drops. They called Dark Throne themselves called this a trendy album, which is just hilarious considering it was only 4 or 5 years old, death metal at the time. I might do a Dark Throne ranking video eventually. There's a lot of albums, 19, but this will be up. This will be up near the top, if not my favorite from Dark Throne, and it's their only death metal album. Just very, very good death metal right here. Yeah, it's hard to say what songs I would say to check out. Track 1's a good one. The title track, Soulside Journey, is a great one. The Watchtower. Yeah, Dark Throne's debut album here, Soulside Journey. It is also black vinyl. And no lyric sheet, but it has a custom sleeve that has the lyrics, photos of the bands, good old Baphomet on the other side, and yeah, classic release here. Okay, so next up, another legendary act, but an album that was a little bit later in their career, and I am talking about the East Coast based, New Jersey based Incantation and their album, The Infernal Storm. So, I've listened to almost every Incantation album, but this was actually a blind buy for me. I saw The Infernal Storm in Vinyl Altar, which I was lucky to get to visit in Philadelphia, which is, if you don't know, Vinyl Altar is a metal record shop. Very, very cool experience. But they had it there. And yeah, a blind buy. I've never heard this incantation album. And inside John McKenty actually says this is his least favorite incantation album. He said it's a great death metal album, but it was the last to feature Mike Sayez on vocals and guitar. I love this. I think this is basically a flawless death metal album. It is just so good, and it is dark. It is evil. It has those minor chords and those minor melodies that you want to hear that don't sound cheesy. That just fucking make you go, yes, this is what I want to hear from a death metal band. So, album came out in 1999, and I'm sorry, album came out in 2000, and yeah, just actually one of my favorite incantation albums that I've heard. I love Mike's vocal approach. It's basically one note, but it's just so on point. Uh, Incantation is one of my favorite death metal bands, so I don't know where I would rank it, but uh, first few listens of this, I definitely, yeah, I don't see anything wrong with this. I love the pacing, I love the composition, the mixture of fast and slow as Incantation can do. It's an Incantation album. Stoked to have it in my collection, and there is a cool variant here for this one. Look at that. There you go. Yeah, very cool variant here. And then I bought this album, the same shop, Vinyl Author, the same day. And I actually listened to them back to back in the car on our way back to our hotel, and it dawned on me that this album from this new school band, they are inspired by Incantation. They are inspired by this sound. And I'm talking about Witch Vomit and their EP Poisoned Blood. Cover art by Matt Steicher, and Matt Steicher is one of my favorite modern death metal cover artists. I think he's done all the Witch Vomit, at least these last three, I should say. The latest three Witch Vomit albums. Very cool release here by Witch Vomit. Heavy, cavernous, old school death metal. Just love how these guys make me feel. It's visceral, it's not cerebral. And another very cool variant. Check this out. There is side B. There is side A. Very cool. See, mostly death metal pickups, and you know, talking about history here. Some old school heavyweights, Dismember, Dark Throne, and Incantation. And then we have Full of Hell, Witch Vomit, and I'm Happy Camper. So, thank you for watching this collection update. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And more of this in the near future. Bye.